Jiggy cat on a damn feeling spree. This is Nagato, and you can't mimic my energy. 100 round drum and me hanging like a centipede.
Hey everyone, it's me Nagato's Revenge and welcome back to my channel. Hopefully everyone who's watching today's video had a great weekend and I hope you had a great day for today. But with all of that being out the way, we're just going to go ahead and dive right into this video and I'm going to be talking about Persona 4. If you're a big fan of Persona like me and you love the PlayStation Vita, this video is definitely for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 720p/1080p patch that is specifically for the PlayStation Vita and PSTV. One thing I do want to state and just kind of give a backstory around June-ish, like early June, basically like from June 1st to like maybe June 10th. Y'all guys remember Steam actually had an official release of Persona 4 Golden, which came out of nowhere. So I thought, you know, why not show some Vita some love? You know, the Vita actually thrived from Persona 4, or basically I should say, you know, the console itself sold a lot of units due to Persona 4 being ported over there. And I thought, you know, there's really hardcore Persona fans and I love Persona 4 personally, why not do a patch on this video? So that's what I'm going to be talking about as of today. Some general information I do want to state and prerequisites, which I'll get into later, just to kind of give you an overview on how to do this process and just some key things that I think people should know before getting set up. So of course for this patch, your device needs to be hacked in some shape or form. So whether if you're using H-Encore, Henkaku Enso, it really doesn't matter. As long as your device is hacked in some shape or form, you're good to go for this process. If you guys don't have a hacked Vita or a PlayStation TV, you could go ahead and follow my guide. I will have that in the link in the description down below and a card should pop up here. As well, this patch works for all copies on the PS4, for Persona 4 on your PlayStation Vita and your PS TV. So whether if you have the Japanese reprint, the original Japanese version of the North American version, Europe or Asia, all of this will work for the same game. And that's what's really cool about this. So if you like playing the Japanese version as opposed to the North American version, then you can for this process. Some other general information I do want to state as well. I also recommend overclocking your system for this patch so you can have 30 frames per second as you play this game. As for this video, I will be covering on how to overclock your device in a brief manner, but if you guys want a more in-depth guide on that, I will have a supplemental video right now on the screen. And of course, any of useful links and guides and anything I'll use in like this video will be in the link in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment, just like any of my other videos. As well, we're just going to go ahead and straight get into the prerequisites and everything you need for today. So first things first, of course, you need a modded PlayStation Vita that's already hacked. So whether if you have Trinity exploit, the Henkaku exploit, H-Encore, H-Encore², Henkaku Enso, as long as your Vita can run unsigned code, you're basically good to go. This does work from 3.60 to 3.73 firmware. Today, I'm currently testing on my PlayStation TV that's on 3.60 firmware. You also need the latest version of VitaShell, and as I'm recording this as of 7/13/2020, I think VitaShell is on version 2.2. You also need a Wi-Fi connection. Of course, either you could use FileZilla FTP client or WinSCP to transfer your files over, or you can use a USB charger cable, which I highly recommend. As well, you'll need Autoplugin 2, which is the latest version. You'll also need the actual plugin itself, P4 Golden HD XKPRX, and this plugin allows you to, you know, get that 1080p resolution on your screen as well as 720p. You also need no NPDRM dump, only if you're getting a no NPDRM dump of the game. Unfortunately, I won't tell you on how to actually get the games. However, I will basically show you on how to install no NPDRM dumps for this video. Some other prerequisites which will be taking place, you of course need the game itself, so Persona 4, and you can see here I have all of the content IDs that goes with the corresponding games. So you can see here Japan, the Japanese reprint version, North America, Europe, as well as the Asian version. And all as well, you need the two plugins, which is today is Sharp Scale plugin and its application, as well as PSVShell and its plugin for overclocking. With all of that being out the way, we're going to go ahead and go to the PC and the Vita to get this process set up. So I'll meet you guys for that. Alrighty, assuming that you did follow all of the prerequisites as stated in the intro, welcome to part 1 of this guide slash segment of this tutorial. In this part of this guide, my plan is to show you guys on how to successfully set up your plugins as well as your homebrew applications before we even get started on the side of playing the Persona 4 game itself. So what I'm going to do as of right now is go ahead and detail one little minor thing for this video, which is I am using, like I stated in the intro, my PlayStation TV, so there may be some minor steps that I may have to do which will vary from the PlayStation Vita's counterpart, which isn't really too different. Like basically this whole guide you could follow along on a Vita as well as the PS TV. However, my file transfer method, which I'll get more into that like right now, basically will be a little bit more different since I don't have a USB charging cable and I basically have to use my PlayStation Vita SD adapter device basically to transfer my files over. However, with that being all out the way, what we need to do now is go ahead and open up VitaShell. So whether if you have the latest version of VitaShell or if you don't, I will have that actual file itself, which is 2.02 is the latest version, in the link in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment. So what we need to do now is just open up the VitaShell application. Let me go ahead and back out of this. But once you're into VitaShell itself, what you want to do is go ahead and set up your file transfer method. What I did recommend in the intro as well as of right now, I recommend once you hit start on your controller, you want to go to where it says select button, and I highly recommend grabbing a USB charging cable if you're on a PlayStation Vita and set your thing to USB, since you know, you may be transferring a lot of files over. So if you don't have Persona 4 installed already and you're using a no MP-DRM dump, I do recommend going with the actual USB method. Or if you really have like really fast internet, or you have like an Ethernet cable set up with your PlayStation TV, you can also do FTP. It will work just as fine. However, the file transfer method usually with FTP takes way longer. So what in my case, I'm going to go ahead and hit circle, back out once it's onto USB. If you're on a PlayStation TV, or excuse me, the PlayStation Vita, and hit select, it will say that your device has connected as long as you have your PlayStation Vita's USB cable inserted into your PC's USB slot, and then you should see it pop up on your Windows PC computer. If you guys don't know how to really set up USB connection, I will actually have a card to one of my videos that specifically teaches on how to set up a USB file transfer connection on the PlayStation Vita with your USB charging cable. But as for me, since I'm using a PlayStation TV, what I need to do is something different. So if you got like a SD to Vita adapter and you have you know, an SD Vita memory card in your PlayStation TV, what we need to do is go ahead and just power off our device, and then what we need to do from there is take our SD to Vita adapter out, plug it in, or take the SD card out and plug it into your PC, just so we can transfer our files that way. It's basically the same method as the USB transferring cable method. It's just that since a PlayStation TV doesn't have a USB charging cable, I really can't transfer files via that way. But with that being said, right now I'm going to go ahead and turn off my PlayStation Vita, or excuse me, my PlayStation TV in this case, and then I'm going to set up everything on the PC and show you guys on how to get that set up on that side of things. Alrighty guys, so just to reiterate of what I was stating in the video, here is my PlayStation Vita SD to Vita adapter, and I'm just taking out the micro SD card via right here. So here's my 64 gigabyte USB memory card, or SD card I should say. What I'm doing is just taking my SD to USB adapter, plugging in my micro SD, and now I'm just going to put it in my USB port. And then as of right now, let's go to the PC and get everything transferred. Alrighty, so as of right now, your PlayStation Vita should be connected to your PC. So whether if you're going to be transferring your files over with FTP, which I don't recommend for this process, I do recommend y'all guys following along and going with the USB method like I am doing, or if you were on a PlayStation TV like me and happen to have a SD to Vita adapter, go ahead and take your USB to, or excuse me, SD to USB, plug that in, and then we're ready to go to get our files to transfer over. And in this segment, I'm going to be going over on where to download all the things you'll need for this process. Just before we get started on going onto Google Chrome or a web browser, just verify that your Vita is connected. So you can see here, this is all of my files on my Vita. Yours may look a little different, but you should have, you know, everything normal. Like you should see your app folder as well. You should see basically your Thai folder and stuff like this. This is basically UX0. So if you're transferring this over with like FileZilla FTP client, you'll be, you know, using the same directories, but I'll get more into that later. Right now, what I'm going to do is open up Google Chrome, and we're going to be covering where we're going to get all of our information from. One thing I do want to state, if you really want to read more about the patch itself, I highly recommend reading this Rololo.net article. It's just explaining what this patch has to offer. You can see that you know, what basically how to set this up, and it's just basically a general synopsis and readme guide on this. But for today, I'm not really going to be covering the news part of this segment. I'm just going to be showcasing the patch. However, I will have this in the link in the description down below. First things first, I will have another website, and this website right here basically contains all of the information we need to get this patch set up. So I'll kind of just read the synopsis here. This patch changes the 3D render and frame buffer resolutions of Persona 4 Golden on the Vita as well as the PlayStation TV to 920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720. 920 by 1080 can be output to HDMI, and 1280 by 720 can be outputted to HDMI or USB via the UDC DC plugin. So basically, if you record your Vita with OBS, and you guys know about that plugin, you can also utilize that. Or Vita users can enjoy a super sample image directly on the screen. So basically, this is what the patch is. It's just to, you know, update the resolution to the game itself, and it's pretty simple on how to get this installed. So first things first, I'm just going to go through with this with y'all and get started on the first step. So first thing, it says install Persona 4 and install the latest update if available. Then what I'm going to do here is go back to my PC. This game right here is the American version of Persona 4, and just to prove to you guys that it is, if I do a simple search on the content ID, you can see here this is the North American ID. And you know, if you want to fact check yourself, you can see here that this content ID corresponds with Persona 4. And you know, just to reiterate that, if I go into images, you can see here that it pops up, it's like metadata information online. But with that being said, this once again does work with the Japanese version, the reprint version, the European and Asian version. So right now, what we're going to do is go back to this website right here. I will have this in the link in the description down below, and I'm going to download the latest version of Autoplugin 2. Since what Autoplugin has, we don't have to basically do steps 2, 3, and 4. Everything that's in Autoplugin 2 has all of this pre-installed, so it's very much easier to get everything installed with Autoplugin than, you know, going through like each website and getting everything, you know, sorted out. So what I like to do is just go ahead and open up Autoplugin 2, go find the latest release, which is version 1.08. So in my case, I'm just going to download the latest version from here. I will have that in the link in the description down below. Probably if the auto plugin gets updated, make sure to use the latest patch. And you can even see here from changelogs, it added the Persona 4 Golden HD plugin, which is the same from this website. So once you have auto plugin done, what we're going to do now is go ahead onto our downloads folder or wherever you have it at. Go ahead and take auto plugin 2, take the game of choice, and what we're going to do is go back into our file explorer, and we're going to transfer our game to a certain directory. So what I'm going to do is just drag and drop the autoplugin.vpk onto the root of the actual folder itself. If you were transferring this over within FileZilla FTP client or doing FTP, you'll just type in your Vita's IP address, drag it into the UX0 folder and place it here. And now what we got to do is take our Persona 4 game. I'm not going to show you guys where to get Persona 4. If you really want to go that route, use Google. But what we're going to do now is copy our game. Once our game has fully copied over, what I'm going to do is transition back to the PlayStation TV. We're going to get all of our plugins set up as well. We're going to get everything we need via an auto plugin setup. So in order for us to play the game successfully with the patch, that's how we're going to basically have things ran. And just to kind of reiterate here, if I go into my Persona 4 folder really quickly and let me try to see if I did copy that image real quick. I'm not too sure if I pasted it. Actually, I didn't, but there is a image that I will have to show you guys once the video is done, since basically it will tell you if the patch has successfully installed. I thought I had it on my PC, but I didn't. But in the meantime, what I'll do is just wait for this to copy over. It's going to take about 30 minutes or so. Hopefully it won't take too long. But once Persona 4 is all done, we're going to go back onto our PlayStation Vita, or in my case my PS TV, and get this set up. So I'll meet you guys for that. Alrighty, so as of right now, all of my files successfully transferred over. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and open back up the folder where I have all of my data located at, and we're going to verify that we have everything in the correct place before we transfer back over to the PlayStation TV, or in your case the PS Vita, so we can get started on part 2 via with Autoplugin. So first things first, let's just verify that our Autoplugin2.vpk is here. So voila, you can see that it's the same date as this, and just to verify the file size, it should be like 9 megabytes. So yep, 9.37 megabytes. And if I hover over it here, or if I actually go into properties, that'll be quicker. Yeah, 9.37. So we already verified that Autoplugin is here. Now what we need to do is go to our app folder, scroll all the way down to where it states our game's title ID. So if you have the Japanese version of the game, go ahead and find the basically the content ID that corresponds to that, or to that version. Same thing with whatever version you have, the EU, US, or whatever. Since I have the US version, if I go to modify dates real quick, let me see something for a second. It should be in here. Oh, there we go. I saw it. So PCSE00120. So this is Persona right here. Once again, we already verified by, if we open up Google real quick, or just from here, this is the US version. So we verified as of right now. Our game successfully transferred over. Autoplugin is here. Now what I'm going to do, let's go ahead, plug in back my SD to Vita adapter to my PlayStation TV, plug it in, and then I'm going to show you guys on the next steps on how to get this set up. So I'll meet you guys back on the actual device itself. Alrighty, so as you can see right here, guys, my PlayStation TV is now booting up. I already have my SD to Vita adapter inside of the machine as well. You guys are probably in not Autoplugin, what is it called, VitaShell, and you're ready to basically get started on installing the actual application itself. In my case, I already had Autoplugin 2 installed, but just to showcase to you guys on how to set this up fully, I'll be deleting this application so we can start from like the same process. So right now, in my case, or for PlayStation TV users, you would have to go back into VitaShell. But if you're in VitaShell still, just cancel out your USB connection. If you did it with FileZilla FTP client and FTP, just go ahead and disconnect the connection. But what we need to do now is go to our UX0 folder, since this is where all the contents needs to be at, and we're going to go ahead and install Autoplugin2.vpk. Now Autoplugin2.vpk will basically allow us to install plugins quickly and successfully without messing with the config.txt, and we'll be able to get everything set up. So in the next segment, once this fully installs, we're going to be installing a multitude of Homebrew applications and as well plugins that we will need for this process. So I'm going to teach you guys on how to overclock your system. I'm also going to teach on how to utilize no MPDRM if you got a no MPDRM dump of the game like I did. As well, I'm going to show you on the main plugins we'll need for this process. So right now I'm just waiting here to basically wait for this to finish up, and I'm pretty excited that I get to show this to you guys, since I am a huge Persona fan. So just waiting for it to do its thing right here. Alright, so it's fully done now. Let's go ahead and back out by hitting our home button. So if you're on a PS Vita, just hit the home button. If you got a PlayStation 4 controller or PS3 controller like I do, just hit the home button, back out. And now let's scroll down and let's find our Autoplugin2.vpk. So once it's installed, just go ahead and launch it like any normal Homebrew application. Let it do its thing. It should create a config.txt for you if it's your first time. Since I already had it in there, it didn't do that option. But what I'm going to do now is go into Vita plugins. We want to go into install plugins first, and as you can see here, the Persona 4 HDD patch is via right here. So let's go into install plugins and let's install the major plugins what we need for today. First things first, let's find the no MPDRM plugin. So I probably already have it installed, but I'll show you guys. So I have the one from the official Flow version 1.2. Go ahead and hit X over that plugin. Now what you want to do is go to the next plugin, and we're going to go to PSVShell. This is going to allow us to overclock our system, so go ahead and select that. The next plugin what we need for today, if I scroll all the way down, let me just try to find it really quick. We need a sharp scale, which this is going to allow us to use the native resolution to HDMI out for HTTP or for PSTV. So go ahead and select that right now. Now it's saying sharp scale config.vpk needs to be downloaded for this plugin. Wi-Fi connection is required, so please make sure your Wi-Fi is on. Just go ahead and hit X. Since this is like the core unlocker application, it needs its plugin and a configuration app to both get this set up. So now that is installed. Now all you need to do is go ahead and hit circle to return the main menu. Go to the Persona 4 Golden HD patch. Now what we need to do, actually, since no MPDRM hasn't been successfully installed, what we need to do is go ahead and turn on the game itself. So what I'm going to do now is reset my device. So let me hit start real quick, go ahead and reset my PlayStation TV, and then come back. Since we didn't basically refresh the live area within VitaShell, since our Persona 4 game is not there. So what we're going to do now, once our device has turned off, we're going to go back to our Vita, refresh our live database so we can get Persona 4 popped up on the screen, and then what we're going to do from there is set up the actual patch. So I'll meet you guys for that. Alrighty, so as of right now, we're basically back onto the PlayStation Vita. It already restarted itself, so what we need to do is go ahead and go into VitaShell, and we're going to verify some things before we get started. So let me go into here, and we're going to verify that all of our plugins have successfully installed. So let's go back out, go into UR0, since that's where all of our plugins are automatically installed, since that's one of the key features. You already see I already have some of the plugins in here. Don't worry about that, that was just for me from testing. But if I go to my config.txt, let's just check our plugins are in the correct place. So we got no MPDRM here, which is good. We also have PSVShell, which is also good. That is going to allow us to overclock our system. We also need the actual other plugin, which I'm trying to find really quickly. Not IDU spoof. I probably just passed it up. It's probably sharp scale. There we go. So here in line 13 we got sharp scale, so all three are present in here. Let's just make sure the actual plugins themselves are here. So we got the no MPDRM patch, we got PSVShell, and if we scroll down we got sharp scale. So we got the three that we need. Now let's go back into UR0, or basically to the main partition where you see all of your folder sets here. Go and hit triangle on your device, or in my case my controller, and you want to refresh your live area. Now it may take some time if you have multiple games, if you never refreshed it before. However, in my case, I have Persona 4 on here, so it may take a little while. So you can see here it refreshed one item. If I go back out to the live area, hopefully Persona 4 is on my device. So there you go right here. And now what we're going to do is just verify that the game can launch, and you want to make sure if it requires any updates. Since I have the American version, I don't think it requires any updates, but what we're going to do is just launch it to the application itself. I will have like the audio cut out for Persona 4 because I do not want to get any copyright flags for the music. I was going to add like original music to this video, but from the Persona 4 series, but I didn't want to get copyright flagged. But you can see here, just make sure that your game fully boots up normally, and at least you could get into the menu screen. So in my case, I think this should be good enough. Here's Persona 4 with the regular resolution. Let's go ahead and back out for a second. And we're going to go into Autoplugin 2, and we're going to now set up the actual patch and reset our device once again. So in my case, there's already a fix that it detected. So fix sharp scale config crash, just hit OK if you get that little error message. It doesn't really mean anything too special. Go into Vita plugins, go into Persona 4 Golden HD, and now it should detect it. So either if you want to use the 1280 by 720 patch, you could go ahead and do that one. I want to go full blast and get 920 by 1080, so I'm installing that right now. What I'm going to do is exit out of the VitaShell application, and now I'm going to restart my device. So that's what I'm doing, just waiting right here, and then I'll meet you guys back once my device has fully booted up. Alrighty, so as of right now, guys, we're back onto the PlayStation Vita and as well as the PlayStation TV. We already got the patch set up Vita with Autoplugin 2. What we need to do now is two things, which is going to be showcasing on how to overclock your device, as well on getting the sharp scale config menu set up before we actually enjoy our game. So what we need to do now, on your PlayStation Vita, or in my case the PlayStation 3 controller, you want to go ahead and hold the select button as well as up on your D-pad, and then it will toggle up a menu. So if you hit it once again, it will show the frame counter, and if you hit it one more time while holding it, it will show the CPU. In our case, we want to go ahead and overclock our systems. One thing I do want to say about overclocking as well, if you're on a PlayStation Vita, just keep a note that overclocking your device may lead into overheating, so make sure you know what you're doing. As well, it does waste your battery a little bit faster since more energy is being consumed. So in my case, I'm going to just go ahead and overclock. Most people do it to 444 megabytes, but I'm going to go ahead and overclock everything just for this purpose, and then you can save your profile since I'm on the PlayStation TV. Now, to get off this menu, off your screen, just hold select, hold down on a D-pad, and then you're basically good to go. So right now, what we're going to do is open up Sharp Scale. We're going to go ahead and go to scaling. So you can see here, by changing the scale of stuff, you could use fitted, real, integer, and original. In my case, I'm just going to use original. Why not? To unlock frame buffer size, make sure this is on. So if your thing's off, make sure it's on. And then what we're going to do is go ahead, back out, load back up the application again just to verify that our settings are saved. So mine's are saved. And then what we're going to do in this case is reopen up Persona 4. So let me just close out the page. We already verified that our thing is updated, at least the American version. The base version was 1.0. And now we should be good to go and ready to play Persona. So what you should see, if you did everything correctly, in the left hand corner, the Persona 4 Golden HD patch should say success and display what resolution you're using. So mine is outputting to 920 by 1080. And yeah, you can see the game is working just fine. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of skip the cutscenes, but you can see here the game looks really nice, especially. And I'm going to try this out for the PlayStation Vita itself, and it will look amazing on the OLED screen. I love the Vita original 1000. But what I'm going to do here is just cut through here, just verify that our game is working. So let me just skip through certain steps right here. I'm just trying to do this really quickly. But yeah, this is essentially on how you can set up Persona 4 in HD quality on your Vita device. So if you're a fan of the Persona series like I am, this is definitely for you. And if you got a modded Vita, why not? But yep, just waiting for it to get to its main cutscene right here. But yeah, essentially this is how you can set this up. With that being all out the way, if you guys have any questions on how to get this set up, free to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you have any issues, I will have my official Discord that you guys can join. And if y'all need, some one-on-one setups, me and my team can help you out for that. But with that being out the way, my name is Nagato, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Hey everyone, it's me, Nagato's Revenge here. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. With that being out the way as well, I highly do recommend that y'all guys go ahead and follow my social media so you never miss any of the latest hacking guides and tutorials on my channel. By subscribing to me and hitting that notification button as well is another method on how you will know when I drop my latest content, whether it be for the Vita, PS4, PS3, and such and so forth. As well, if you want to be in the mix of things and you want to join my official community, you can join via the link right now showcased on the screen and join my Discord that way. And if you do want to support my channel in any shape or form, you could become a patron. I will have a card right now. But with all of that getting out the way, hope you guys really did enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.